Yo, what's up, y'all? Yo, what's good? It's your boy, the Truth Seeker. I want to talk to y'all about a woman named Jane Crowley, or Crowley, however you say her name. Anyways, so I'm gonna take y'all back to a brief amount of history. Now, it's a woman named Jane Crowley who started something called the Mother's Pension Plan. Now, before we go there, there's something called the GFWC, aka the General Federation of Women's Club, which is an advocate for the Mother's Pension Plan. What is a Mother's Pension Plan? Well, we're going to get there in a couple seconds. So, the GFWC was founded in 1890, one of 3,000 clubs in the U.S., and the headquarters is in Washington, D.C. So, it was started by a woman named Jane Crowley. They had chapters around in a few states. They had a chapter around a few different states, actually. Their motto or their creed was, "We look for unity in diversity." But, unfortunately, that was false, because a black woman named Josephine Ruffin, which is a journalist who tried to join at least 3 different organizations, she was denied, and they told her they wouldn't see the color. And it became something known as a fluffing incident, which spread like wildfire through the newspapers. Why she tried to join is beyond me, because, this is a time of segregation. It's like 1909, 1920s, and, sometime way back then. Like, this is the early 1900s. So, segregation was super high. And they claim they're not racist, but they also said, "Oh yeah, we can't see the color, but we'll make you an honorary woman on board," basically. So she wasn't really a part of it. She was just, basically, it sounded to me like they just used the one. But anyways, the GFWC, they met annually and monthly with state officials using the right to vote, and until the right to vote was granted. Civil rights, affirmative action, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I know they different times, but I'm just saying they started getting together until that was granted. Then the Mother's Pension Plan, eventually turned into financial aid. And the Mother's Pension Plan at that time, or financial aid, whatever you want to call it, was the first cash system for single mothers, and it was aimed at families to keep them and to provide aid for single mothers, mainly for the widowed mothers. So if their husbands died in war, usually, but some of them was for if their husband went to prison, if they had a husband that was mentally disabled or physically disabled, they got finance and stuff like that. You see, you're looking at reading something. I took brief notes because I wanted to, make sure I didn't lose my point and what I was going to say in this video. So, and also keep in mind, the pay was so low that they still had to work, even though the whole reason for it was so they didn't have to work and could stay home with their kids. Even the United States said, "Yeah, we want to make a program so they don't have to work and they can stay at home with the kids." But of course, it ain't true. So, anyways, most states' pension was only for widows. And in southern states, black moms were excluded by law. So by law in the South, you could not even get any aid. And this is back in, like I said, early 1900s. And many states had requirements which was discriminatory racially, ethically. Black moms were judged for lack of proper characters, what they say. And let's see. Immigrants did get it. Oh yeah, and immigrants could even get on there just for speaking a different language. So if they spoke anything besides English, so that means Spanish, Chinese, whatever, they couldn't even get on. They couldn't even get any assistance just because they didn't speak English, even though they was American citizens also. So they was getting discriminated against too. Any immigrants, whether you was black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, Indian, all of that. And it said, oh, another thing too. Caseworkers also made mothers turn down and quit full-time jobs because the government wanted them to spend more time with their children. So if you had a full-time job, even though if it didn't pay a lot, they still wanted you to quit that. And they also said not only did they want you to quit your job that you're working at, but they also wanted you to not make sure you didn't take any jobs. And they said women were denied for being too confident, meaning if they had a certain amount of kids, they just said, "Oh no, they think they're getting a handout. You too confident. I'm cool." They basically, the government said, "No, you ain't getting on this." And it says only one third received, or 1/3 of majority of poor families didn't even get anything. Only 1/3 received it. Yeah, only 1/3 received the assistance. Majority of poor families didn't get anything. And still like that to this day. Remember, it's 1900s. So still to this day, most poor people don't even get help. Also, in 1922, cities like Denver and Pittsburgh was excluded, even though they had eligible people just because they had a man in the home. So, if you below the poverty line, say you got $20,000 or less. Back then, I'm sure it was a lot less because of inflation is the reason why it's high now. But whatever below the poverty line was for 1920, you couldn't get anything just because you had a man in the house, which was unfair because they still needed help because they had two incomes, a man and a woman, and they still didn't make enough. But just because they had a man, they couldn't get that. And then that's pretty much the end of that. But the mother's pension plan did turn into financial aid, government assistance. The Social Security Act helped with that also because it's like a branch part of that, or it's like the beginning of it, if you want to say like something like that. Now, anyways, so according to the census, because I did some more research, 50% of Americans support increased spending on Social Security income. So on SSI, the census said most people stay less than 4 years on government assistance, things like that. The census says most families on SNAP are in deep poverty, and 72% of Americans need, 70% of them still need financial help. And that's about it for as far as this part. Now, the reason I made this video is because I seen somebody on YouTube on one of my on a comment. It was on a YouTube video, and he was saying that welfare is the black people's reparations. So I just wanted to do this video to challenge that, and anybody with that rhetoric. That's black people reparations. How come there is more white people on it? And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, there's more white people in America. Yeah, that's true, right? But why is there any white people on it? If this was supposedly black people's reparation, why are white people on it? Also, if this is black people's so-called handout, most black people can't even get on it because you have to make around 20-something thousand or less. And if you work any decent job full time, half decent job, you can work at McDonald's full time and you're not going to qualify for it. So this is not a black person's handout. This is just something for Americans. Also, was started by white people like Jane Crawley, for white people by white people, and then for the people that say they're the queen of welfare, like I said, majority of white people. And then you go, well, what about a queen? A queen is either something she's, as far as this way goes, something she's good at or something she runs or controls, right? Now, black women are the face of it. They've always been the face of it because of racism. But since the beginning of the time, white women pushed this for their people. This was only for white women at one point. They was like black women, nobody else could even get on it. And also, most states turned them down. Number two, this is ran by white women, and still to this day, mostly white people are on it. Also, I think it was Franklin D. Roosevelt who passed this. Maybe another president. Don't quote me on that. But also, a white man is the one who passed this. And they had meetings on it and all this stuff and saying, hey, these mothers need help, which is fine. I don't mind help. People needing help. Also, so not only did this for white people by white people, but they're still majority on it. So then it was just had a question of, well, then how could they be the queen of something that they don't run? How could they be the queen of something they didn't start? And how could they be the queen of something that everybody's pretty on? So you can say that's their handout, but technically, not even technically, pretty much it's not it's not their handout. It's more of something that benefits pretty much every American that's in need. Now, I'm not for it or against it personally. I don't qualify for it, just like I would say probably most Americans don't qualify for it. But if you do qualify for it, that's cool. Because the people who can't get on it, statistically, they're gonna be less educated. Because that helps with the educated. There's gonna be less people with money, which means more homeless people. And everybody complaining about the homeless problem now. So you take that away, that's more homeless people, less educated people, which means also more crime, more violent crimes at that also. So whether you for it or against it, I just wanted to put that out there just to think about it, like. And yeah, that's pretty much it.